Hello and welcome back to another market update. Today is Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. My name is Rhodes with Team CR Realty. Before we jump into inventory and before I ask you to like this video, yes, there is something different about me. I have shaved my mustache, or at least kind of just trimmed it off. I made a trimming mistake. It made one side a little bit smaller than the other, and I just kind of had to start anew. So I'm a brand new man. I feel amazing, but it's coming back. Don't you worry. I know I've got all those mustache lovers out there, so it's coming back. Don't you worry. If you like these videos, if you find them educational, hit that like button, subscribe if you aren't already, comment if you have any questions down below. Let's jump right into inventory. Currently, we are sitting at 18,709 active listings on the market. I am going to give you a chance to guess if that is up or down from last week. Correct. Yes, it is up. But this is actually an interesting point today. We are up only 0.99%, not 9.9%, 0.99%, or just under a 1% increase week over week. We are finally finding our new equilibrium. The increase week over week has continued to go down. We were seeing thousands of new listings every week and double-digit increases in inventory at its highest, but now we are starting to see an increase of listings go down and finding a new normal. The dust is finally settling from all of this shakedown that the Fed has caused with the raising of interest rates. I'm guessing this trend will continue unless the Fed does something crazy, either to fight inflation or a consumer recession or just an economic decrease. If interest rates stay the same and no other outside factors come into play, then we have found our new normal. Prices have come down a little bit. Price cuts are happening if you need to get the home sold quickly, but if you want to get a better price, it just takes a little longer now to get the buyer in your house to walk it that actually wants the house. Less interest and showings for listings, but we are over the hump of uncertainty, but current sellers aren't that aware as of yet. This is where you can swoop in and get some good deals, Liz, right now, because people are still seeing the floor, or still thinking that the floor is going to be falling out from underneath them, but in reality, we're really just starting to come to our new normal. Let me know in the comments down below if you think right now is a good time to buy. I'm interested in what you think as the viewer. The news cycle is totally eating up the market shift and posting articles to get those views. Well, what people want to read is how the market is shifting, and for the worst, one news source that actually is getting it right is Yahoo Finance. I think they're doing a great job. Check out this article here, just basically saying that this is not a crash that is coming. It's not a 2007 or 2008 that is coming, and it gives a couple of reasons why it thinks that I think that they're doing a great job at kind of presenting the facts and the indicators, but a lot of news cycles or a lot of news articles and websites out there are really posting articles to get people afraid. Meanwhile, we're actually finally starting to cool down on that runaway train that was an increase in supply. A lot of people still are calling though for a crash and totally know it's going to happen, when in reality that's just not what the indicators are actually pointing to. What I see the indicator showing is that we are reaching a new stable market in inventory and pricing, specifically with interest rates. We just don't have the supply to cause another 2007, which is what a lot of articles or people are saying will happen. We have to ask ourselves, what will cause prices to go down? And you have to look at supply and demand. Supply is going up, demand's going down. Yes, that has happened. And that is what's caused us to get to this point, a neutral market. But as I stated before, the dust is finally settling. The increases are becoming less and less. This wasn't the case in 2007. We were seeing increases like crazy continuing up until, just prices kind of fell out from underneath sellers. We do have a lower demand because of affordability, but people are actually getting creative in ways to make those payments much less with interest rate buy downs, or just having to put up less money up front. I would say that if you're a speculative investor who's going to buy a house and try to sell it in a year, maybe right now isn't the best time just because of uncertainty. But if you want to get into a house right now, it is as a good of time as any to get in, rather than waiting for the seller to realize, oh, the floor isn't falling out from underneath me. like in 2007. I'm going to make a whole video on the creative ways to get your payment cheaper for the house, and also just like the house for less money. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to do that this week. One great area to see this happening practically are with the iBuyers. I've talked about these guys before because they are doing the most consistent transactions and having their data being tracked. OpenDoor is starting to really incur some losses. They are closing on average at 87.9% of list price and taking on average a negative 7.25% increase, or basically a decrease of, or a loss, excuse me, of 7.25% on every single house that they've sold in the past 2 weeks. They are making concessions and taking offers for much lower than what they paid for the houses just a few months earlier. This is the risk that a company like OpenDoor takes on with their specific business model. They are stuck with tons of inventory that they have to get rid of because their holding costs are like no one else out there. They own billions in real estate. Not to mention they are paying commissions to the buyer's agent and other fees that are associated with the sale of a house. We will see how long that they can continue to lose money. You know, it's not a great business model just to lose money quarter after quarter after quarter after quarter. All right, let's jump into the Crawford Report. Enough of the iBuyers and OpenDoor. We have officially reached a neutral market. We're sitting at 108.4 for the CMI. Again, that's 1.084 buyers for every listing out there. So it's very, very neutral. You know, you have one buyer for basically every one listing out there, and it's a neutral market. That's what that means. At the highest, we saw maybe like 5 buyers for every listing out there when we were at our peak maybe last year around this time, and that's why prices were going up so much and why people were you know, spending so much on over and above appraisals. They're doing appraisal gaps, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And we're seeing 73.1 for supply and 79.2 for demand. I'll go ahead and compare it to last week's here so you can see the difference. It's gone down, obviously. Like I stated before, this just shows that the power is now in the hands of the buyer. The seller no longer gets to run the show, and they actually have to grant things to the buyer that wasn't normal just a few months ago. You, as a buyer, can go get an inspection, have a full inspection. People 6 months ago were waiving inspections on houses. First-time home buyers were waiving inspections. I never had a client waive an inspection because I always told them never waive an inspection. But people were doing this. They were waiving inspections. They're just taking it as is. Okay, you know, I just want to get into a house, so you know, we're gonna just basically do as much as we can. And people were buying houses without getting inspected. It's crazy to me. So right now you can go and get an inspection. You can ask for fixes and expect the sellers to actually comply. Also, maybe a seller concession towards your loan to make it more affordable, or just, you know, right off the top of your loan, you know, of like a seller or a price cut. This is a really great thing because it was absolute madness for a buyer. Even just 3 or 4 months ago, buyers were having to put in offers way over ask just to get looked at, and you better have money on top to make sure you cover that appraisal gap. It was just insane. It is much more chill today to buy a house, and you can get exactly what you're looking for and possibly a good deal if the seller just wants to get it off their hands quickly. As for my own clients on the listing side, we're having to drop the price just a bit to get showings. We want, but it's, you know, it's working. I'm thinking we'll be able to get my clients under contract in the next week or so, just with the number of showings being, you know, going up. Also, they're trying to buy a house as well, so it's basically selling their house and buying another one, and that purchase is going to be contingent on the sale of their house. But we had that purchase, the sellers accept our contingent offer on a house that is not yet under contract. This shows how much the market has shifted. Sellers are desperate enough to accept an offer because they don't have any offers of an offer that's contingent on a house that's not even under contract yet. We will see what happens, but I really think now is going to be a great time to get into the market as things come back and basically form a new normal. That is all that I have for today. Thank you so much for joining me in this week's market update. If you like this video or found it informational, hit that like button, subscribe if you aren't already, comment down below if you have any questions at all. Also comment if I should keep growing out the mustache or just, like, you know, what's the word, just like, you know, get rid of it completely. I don't know what the word is. What is it? 89 it? 86 it? I don't know. Comment down below if you think I should keep it or it should go away forever. My name is Rhodes with Team Sierra Realty, where Arizona real estate is seen.